friends. I'm Joy, and I wanted to make a few teaching videos, short ones, just to kind of go over the nuts and bolts of mind body science and how it creates chronic symptoms. And in this short video, I'm going to just start with we live in a very stressful environment, very stressful world now. It's very complicated. It's very easy to be overwhelmed. It's very easy to kind of forget to take care of ourselves and try to get things done. It's very easy to think of success in terms of achievements and peer pressure and all kinds of things, okay? And not only for us, but also for our parents and our grandparents and on down the generational lineage. So mind-body science is the science that basically denotes how the brain creates pain. And the brain creates pain because it perceives danger, okay? So if we get an injury and we fall down and sprain our ankle, the brain is getting that message from the nerves, from the neurons, and sends the message up, and the brain sends the pain message right away so that we don't continue to walk on the ankle and cause further damage. Same with like putting our finger on a hot stove. That pain is instantly because there's potential danger there. Now, where this pain message begins is in a very primitive part of the brain, which is the limbic system, which is also responsible for our emotions, okay? Now, emotions can also be said to be a danger signal, right? A message that there's something wrong or that there's a potential hazard or something is amiss. But they can also be good emotions as well. If the brain is perceiving danger on some level, okay, it sends a pain message. Now, it can perceive danger through lots of different things. Mostly it's perceiving danger in its environment. It's always on the lookout to keep us safe, all right? Now, in our very complicated world, we are gone beyond the dangers of the tiger and the tribe next door, and we've got danger from taxes and from family strife and relational and maybe health anxiety, and maybe the perceptions of danger are endless, basically, right? And all of these perceptions cause us to feel a certain way. Maybe if we're not getting along with a spouse, a partner, or a coworker, right? We try to accommodate it by maybe trying to figure out a way around it. And this is what we call manage. We try to manage the dangers. And when we're managing the dangers, we're not really getting in touch. We're not taking the time to see how we really feel about it. Now, a lot of these perceptions are old perceptions. They can come from our childhood. They can come from our parents. And these old perceptions are what we call programs. They're, a bunch of neurological information that the brain stored when we were children. And depending upon how we were raised, we were all raised differently. But if we were told that crying is, don't be such a sissy, or big boys don't cry, or things of that nature, our brain is filing all this information all the time. And as we grow up, when we're children, up until about the age of 7, our brains are developing and taking in every bit of information it can and storing it in order to survive this life. It's a lot of information, and a lot of that information is coming from people that aren't aware of what the information is that they're feeding us, okay? And let's say we had parents or caregivers that didn't give us the emotional needs that, we required as growing children, babies. That can cause all kinds of wrong information in the brain. And children tend to take on responsibility for things that isn't theirs to take. Okay? So this can cause basically all kinds of potential perceptions of danger. Now, I want to say that, it isn't important to know what happened when we were children. It kind of can help, like, if we sort of know, to connect the dots when we're recovering from chronic pain. But basically, what happens is if there is a perception of danger and our managing kind of energy kicks in, which can be mostly in thoughts. It mostly happens in our thoughts. And this is why paying attention to our thoughts is actually very helpful, right? And there is a skillful means to doing that. And paying attention to those managers, if the managers take us over and we're not taking care of our emotional needs and those aren't met, we're denying a part of ourself that maybe grew up feeling that its emotions were bad or dangerous, or its feelings were unsafe, basically. And the more we do this and go into managing and deny the emotional needs of whatever that is going on there, the brain is getting the message over and over and over again that those needs are not safe, and every time they come up, the brain is doing something to keep them down. And because it's seeing that over here, the emotions is not safe, it sends a pain signal, just like you would get if you put your finger on a hot stove, right? And the more we do this, the stronger that symptom is going to get, okay? And it can be anything. Symptoms can be very unusual, and there's very diverse. Usually, a very, very common one is digestion. And this has a logic to it, because when we're running away from the tiger, we don't need to digest our food. And so the brain shuts off all the energy to our digestive system to conserve the energy to get away from the tiger. But because it's coming from a highly primitive part of our brain, it doesn't know that we need to digest our food because there is no tiger. It only sees danger. It only is responding to the perception of danger. Okay? And this is it in a nutshell. This is mind-body science. This is what's creating all kinds of chronic pain, and we're seeing people with chronic pain. I see people with chronic pain all the time, and I can tell they've got mind-body syndrome because, they have it, they're trying to manage it, they're afraid of it, and they don't know how to relate to it. And so, because of my own experience with my own symptoms, and because I've had symptoms my entire life, and it took a number of years to really get dialed into what works and what doesn't. Now, some people can get very clear about why their symptoms are there, and they can get better really quickly. But for a majority of us, it takes a little bit more skill a little bit more awareness, actually, is what it is. It's developing the awareness and connecting the dots about why you have chronic symptoms, right? And this is all a good thing, because if the brain is telling you there's danger, you want to get that danger to turn off. Because if your brain has been perceiving danger, maybe for years, maybe for months, maybe for decades, maybe for your entire life, that brain has been in a fight or flight mode its entire life. And its managers trying to manage its life is exhausting. And the level of cortisol that's being released into the system is not an optimal way to live, right? We're meant to be able to self-regulate, just like if you see a deer run away, they run away and then they stop and then they start eating grass. That's what self-regulation looks like. But because we live in this stressful environment, we don't know how to self-regulate. We don't stop and return to normal, which is the level of homeostasis, which is the place, the baseline where optimal health resides. Okay? Now, there's lots of different ideas around mind-body science and mind-body symptoms, but many of us, I work with a lot of practitioners, people that are trained and very experienced in the mind-body world. We're sharing a lot of ideas, and we're starting to see that the psychological component of danger perception is enormous in all disease, because all disease has a mind-body component. It all has a perception of danger. And so to get that to turn off, it will be the best thing that has ever happened to you. You will feel better than you ever have in your life, because there is something, we've returned to a more natural way, that baseline of homeostasis, where real health, real ease, real peace can be, okay? So I'm going to continue on. My next videos, they won't be as long as this one, but I want to talk about what keeps things chronic, okay? How you perpetuate them, and we'll also go into recovery, all right? So thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.